All right. My name's Mike. I'm interviewing you, Pat, InfoSec Pat. Probably a really good channel if you haven't checked it out. Super helpful with the server course. I'm kind of gearing up to take some certification classes, which I'm looking forward to. But I do have a couple questions for you.
Okay.
The first one being, how long have you been in the IT and cybersecurity space?
Now 2020. So I would say now about 17 years. I'm 34, so that was about 18. So about
Okay.
17, 18 years. But
Wow.
with computers, probably almost 20. But like professionally, probably about 17 years.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. That's what. So you now? Did you out of high school kind of get into this, or were you more of like a college kind of
So
scene
in high
guy?
school, if you've seen videos of me before, but like I skateboard and I still skate till today, but not as
Right.
much as I did when I was in my early 20s.
Okay.
But I used to use like Adobe After Effects, Adobe Premiere, doing video editing and stuff like that. So my major in undergrad was multimedia design,
Sure.
and then and it led. I had a little instant that my PayPal got hacked, and I got intrigued with the whole penetration testing and hacking world.
Hmm.
So I just went to my advisor, my counselor in undergrad, and said I want to switch majors to computer engineering and with a minor in information security. So that's
Okay.
what I ended up doing, and then I went to grad school for as well.
That's pretty cool. Pardon me if I keep looking over. I'm looking at the questions here, kind of
Yeah,
taking
go
notes if that's okay.
ahead.
So you kind of dove into a little bit with your PayPal.
Mhm.
But the second question, you kind of answered that, so we'll kind of move on. What was your educational background growing up? Were you kind of like the A student, or like the teacher's pet kind of deal, or were you?
No, 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 no. Far from that. I'm going to be 100% transparent. When I was in New York, I'm originally from New York, and I grew up in Ozone Park. It's a little town, it's a little city kid, and I went to a high school. It was John Adams High School. Um, I wasn't the best student. I'm going to be honest. Like I would cut school. I would go to the city and skate, and then I had a transition in my life that I came down to Florida,
Okay.
and then I went from down here to up. And yeah, then I don't say I was a student in high school. Hell no. C's, B's if I was lucky. You
Hmm.
know, and then and then undergrad. That's when I was like, okay, now I need to step it up a little bit. And then I started. Yeah, I was getting a in grad school. I had a 3.9 GPA.
Okay.
Grad,
Wow.
yeah. So it went up and up as more I took it serious. In undergrad, I took it serious. For the first 2 years was a little, you play off whatever,
Hmm.
but yeah, and then so that's my educational background.
So where did you go to undergrad, and where did you do your grad school?
Yeah, so undergrad I went to FAU for 2 years, Florida Atlantic
Wow. Yeah.
University,
Yep.
and then I went to ITT Tech and I finished there, and then for grad school I went to WGU.
Okay.
It's online.
Nice.
Hmm.
That's pretty sweet. So, Pat, the next question has to do with a little bit about the background in your videos. So the
Hmm.
background in your videos from the courses I've been following,
Hmm.
it looks like they ran out of computer paper printing out the certifications that you have. You
Hmm.
have a ton of them.
Yeah.
What? Why? Why did you pursue so many certifications? Were they that important to the field? And
No, totally. And that's a good question. I never had it like that. People ask me, why do I have them? Why not? Right.
right.
But the reason why I got the ones that I've gotten is because my mentality was if I'm going to learn a technology, I want to be reinforced for what I'm learning.
Hmm.
Right. Why go through the heartache of learning, for an example, VMware, right? Like I wanted, like had you work for a company, you understand VMware, Hyper-V, virtualization, or whatever the case may be, and you're killing yourself. You're learning this technology, and all of a sudden, you have nothing to prove that you know it.
Hmm.
That was always my mentality with like when I did my MCSEs. I don't know 9 MCSEs or 7. I don't remember.
Okay.
And then in my MCITP, And then, then I went to the Cisco world because I was
Mm,
learning Cisco, and I was always scared of Cisco. Cisco always petrified me, and I was
right.
always petrified by the command line. I grew up on the GUI.
Right.
I was like, I'm just gonna do this like this, Active Directory, DNS, everything.
Mm,
Even until like 5 years ago, I would avoid PowerShell. Maybe not 5 years ago, probably 7 years ago, like PowerShell, all the automation
sure.
and yeah. So the reason why I think it's more, hopefully I answered your question to reinforce what I'm learning.
Right.
Yes, I do have quite a bit. I lost count. I honestly, I don't like to say this out in public because I don't like people thinking I'm not conceited.
Mm.
I don't like to toot my horn, but I have about 73 certifications.
I mean,
Hmm.
that's a pretty beefy number. That's not like, oh, I was bored on the weekend, it was raining, and I picked up a certification for dummies book. You really
Yeah,
kind of grinded.
yeah. About 10 years, I was doing a lot of studying and just
Mm.
staying in this room, not actually in this room, because I just moved back to this house. This is my house for 11 years. I
Okay.
actually moved to another house for a year and a half, and I
Sure.
sold that house and I just moved back here. So if you guys see my videos, everything is a little
Little
doesn't look the
bounced
same.
around, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a little bit about why I took my
Mm.
certifications, and I'm a big certification person. Like I think it's just a bucket of information to learn,
Mm.
and it's hard to go ahead. I
No,
can.
no, you're good. This is good. I'm into it. I like learning about this stuff because I'm new. I'm kind of a green thumb in regards to it.
Yeah. So, and people ask me all the time, which certification should I get?
Mm.
And that's a question for you or to whomever, right? If you
Okay.
ask me which certification I'm getting next, the one I'm working on right now is S Corp for CCNP, the new CCNP stuff, and that's for security. So because I want to understand more of the new Cisco technologies, and I'm
Mm.
using EVE-NG and some cool technologies out there to lab it up instead of having physical labs here in my house. Um, but yeah.
Yeah, you kind of jumped the shark with some questions I had at the end there that I didn't send. With like, oh, what are you working on next?
Hmm.
And you already beat me to the pulp there. So Pat, good on you. Why did you start your YouTube channel?
That's a good question. The reason why I started my YouTube channel
Hmm.
was because I would have like friends just like yourself, through the grapevines of the interwebs. And I would ask, like people ask me questions, just like, what is Active Directory? How to set up Active Directory? How to set up a Palo Alto firewall? How to get labs for free? Because not a lot of people have, money laying around to go spend on Cisco equipment,
Hmm.
the Cisco packet tracer. There's a whole bunch of different technologies out there to utilize. Same thing with, VMware VirtualBox is free. You can just download an eval, just like I showed you, download
Hmm.
Windows Server 2019 eval and just add things up. So the main purpose of my YouTube channel was to give back, and instead of like me saying, okay, Mike, I want to set up this is how you set up Active Directory domain services, add this, do this, and then here, and I'll send you a little video. Why not
Hmm.
publish it to the world so everyone can see it? So that was my main purpose of the YouTube channel.
I think that's pretty cool. I think
Hmm.
that's really cool. My next question was, are you working currently? Like, are you
Yes.
okay? You're doing it for a full-time job. I don't know how far you can dive into it, but
Yeah, totally. I'm a director of IT for a local insurance company. So,
okay,
I manage the IT infrastructure, networking, um, doing their pen testing,
sure.
all their vulnerability assessments, make sure they're compliant with the regulations that they need to be compliant with. Yeah. The,
That's pretty cool.
mhm.
That's really cool. My next question is, what's your favorite part of IT or cybersecurity, or both?
That's a good question. My favorite, may probably people are gonna get
Oh no.
not expecting this, but Microsoft is probably my favorite. Yeah, maybe because I'm the most proficient with it. I know it with my eyes closed. I know it very, very well. And in the cybersecurity stuff intrigues me is when you can manipulate something like the way it wasn't made to be, right?
Okay.
Or say, for example, people say it's impossible to have my firewall hacked, or firewall invasion,
Hmm.
and
Okay.
I'm really really secure. My website's secure just because because it has an SSL cert. Guarantee, for example, I'm not going to disclose the company, but I did something for a friend that they said their WordPress site was secure because it has an SSL cert. But I found all their stuff was wide open. You're supposed to have 404 forbidden, right? You go to your website / WP content / you can go into a directory to see if directories are locked, and it was
Hmm.
wide open with 777, meaning that's the permissions for Linux. That's read, write, and execute.
Hmm.
And so it was wide open. I was able to download all their content to a local server. I uploaded it. I created a web server for free. I'm not going to
Hmm.
give that company out, but I created it, and I just duplicated their site, changed the DNS record, and when they go to, because you can have different subdomains,
Right.
and then I can just, instead of going to their domain, I was able to reroute them, which is doing DNS spoofing
To your new
to
site
something
that you had.
exactly.
Okay.
And it was a little different because I made some PHP changes and stuff like
Sure.
that.
Okay.
But yeah, and they thought they were so secure, and I was able to do that in about 3 hours and just get a full blown site that they thought, with their full content.
Oh boy.
Hmm.
One green tea and you're off to the races, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And then I told them, how to secure it, and pretty much like a bug hunter.
Right. Bug bounties. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah, it's just like that. But like my friend was like, "Oh, check out my site. Like the company I'm working for is really secure." He's about a year and a half into cybersecurity or
Hmm.
IT security. So he's like, "Oh, check it out. Do an Nmap scan. See what you can find, and do all this stuff." And I was able to find some stuff.
Quite a bit, apparently,
Yeah.
if you were able to flip that. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. So
That's
that's
pretty cool.
cool stuff.
Um, Pat, I have three more
Yeah, go for
questions
it,
for
man.
you. So when you were starting your career in IT, what companies did you look for?
What companies do I look for? I look
Right.
for I look for companies that are team oriented, right? Like if the team isn't con- collaborating,
Mm,
it's not really for me. Like I'm not the kind of IT person that I like to hold my knowledge.
mm,
If I was, I wouldn't make a YouTube channel, right?
right.
Um, I like to share my knowledge. I like to provide. Sharing is caring in my eyes. When you're a hoarder of knowledge, you die alone, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah.
So that's pretty much it.
Okay. Team orientation. That's
Yeah.
I would have never thought about that. Going into like I'm sure like in other jobs and other fields that would be kind of uh like what you were looking for, but a lot of the movies and a lot of pop culture kind of portrays these individuals as shut-ins who just stay inside in kind of a dark room and they're just pounding the keyboard all day. But to hear kind of that you're team-oriented, a breath of fresh air. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's important because we don't all know it all. We can
Mm,
Google all we want, but I think collaborating is super important, and I think it's massive. Like, yeah, can you do it all by yourself and Googling and YouTubing and all that stuff? Yes,
mm.
but I don't know, like something about collaborating and feeding off each other is like a high to me. Like it's like
Yeah,
cool. Yeah.
that's pretty sweet. So, how did networking, not the fun networking with RJ45 cables and set up servers, but how did networking, talking with other people, aid you in your career search?
Can you repeat that last part?
Sure. So, like, how did like reaching out to people and talking about what you want to do help you find a job?
I think, yeah, network. So I think reaching out pretty much what helped me, I think, the most was more like going up to meetups. I used to go to meetups, um, and just like business oriented meets
Mm.
and just talk to people. I remember when I first started, my uncle's friend got me really into the IT world, into more of uh, that stepping stone to advancement of like, okay, before I was doing, computer service for Gateway, but actually
Mm.
like working with Active Directory and learning about different domains and stuff like that. So that, and then, but I wanted to escalate my my skills. So I would go out
Mm.
to like meetups. I would go to events at school,
Okay.
like job fairs. That's what it is,
Sure.
job fairs. And that's what really, and you just go there and just network and just communicate and show that you're eager to learn. And you can even, if you're brand new in the field, you can always go to churches and donate your time, like
Yeah.
try to get your hands on with that as well to get that experience.
That's pretty sweet. So, Pat, the final question is, and I know you kind of vaguely grazed over it, but for anybody who's kind of looking at, either your wall of certifications or your YouTube channel, or just kind of looking at other general information,
Mm-hmm.
for everybody, what certification would you recommend someone get?
So for everyone, I'm a big believer, and if you ever watch my videos, the A plus certification, till this day, maybe no, the OSCP was a real killer. But before that, A plus was probably my hardest certification I've taken, and I've
Okay.
taken a lot, you know. And I don't know till this day, is it because I didn't know Jack, and then this was
Mm.
my first, or I think there's more to this answer.
Mm.
I was never a hardware guy. I didn't like hardware. I didn't care about your motherboard, your North Bridge, South Bridge, your RAM,
Okay.
because I was never a gamer. I didn't care about building
Right.
a fancy machine with a 6 gig video card and doing SLI and doing all that stuff. Like a lot of the A plus guys, they work for the Geek Squad and they're really the
Mm.
work for Tiger Direct when CompUSA used to be, more like into the nitty gritty of the computers. Like I was never
Sure.
that way till today. I'm not. Yeah, I built my machine or whatever, but it's not like I'm like, yo, dude, let's go build a computer today. No,
Mm.
like I won't advertise, like if it's a friend or something like that, yeah, I'll help them build it, but it's not like I'm advertising, let's go build gaming rigs.
Right.
But the A plus, the Network plus, Security plus, and Linux plus, those 4 certifications will give you the insight of, okay, there's a lot of Linux servers. So that gives you the breakthrough of cybersecurity, right? Because a lot of security
Mm.
stuff, you're going to run Kali Linux, Parrot, Blackhawk, any kind of distro that we're going to be hacking with. So if you understand how Linux works, you'll understand Kali and those tools when you're executing them. When I say A plus, Network plus, Security plus, because then that gives you the fundamentals of the triad, right? CIA and understanding malware, understanding those kind of things. Network plus, because you can get the fundamentals of the OSI model. Understand how networks traverse. What is a router? You don't have to know how to configure a router at the Network plus level, but you should understand what is layer 1, what is layer
Mm.
2, what is layer 3. And I think that should be good. And then when you want to get into firewalls, application, all that stuff, you can get up into the higher levels of the OSI model. And obviously the A plus, because that gives you the fundamentals of, because the A plus I heard now, because when I took it, I took all my CompTIA when I didn't have to do the CE. I think now you have to do continue education. So I was grandfathered into all my certifications from CompTIA.
That's pretty cool.
I think I have the A plus, Network plus, Security plus, Linux plus, Server plus, Project plus, Green IT. There was a healthcare one back in the day. I took that because I was working for a healthcare place, but that was and I was all grandfathered in. So
That's pretty cool. Well,
Yeah.
Pat, I appreciate you kind of taking the time out of your day and helping me out with answering these questions.
Totally, man. Like it's my pleasure anytime, and I'm more than happy to, ask me anything, on here, on Discord, on YouTube, Instagram, etc. You have my number now, so you can always
Yeah.
You can bother me anytime.
Yeah.
I can, maybe I'm not gonna say that part because I don't want to disclose where you live. But like totally, man. Like that's
Yeah. I mean, this has been sweet.
Yeah.
This has been really good. Kind of like just getting a better grip.
Yeah, man. And I don't know if you want to put your social media out there. I can put it when I upload this video, but that's all up to him. That's at his discretion. I'll talk to him if you guys want to hit him up. Maybe we can give him his Discord or whatever. But I can give you my Discord and we can all just chat in there. And
Yeah,
yeah, man. So it was awesome chatting. And until next time, if you have any questions, just hit me up.
I will. Sounds
Awesome.
good.
All right, you got it.
Thanks.
Cheers later.